have a computer with Windows 10 as your operating system, and instead of shutting down, it'll just restart in just a few seconds. Maybe the physical power button on your machine does work to turn it off. Or maybe you can get it to shut down when you use the command line. But why won't that button work down there in the lower left corner when you click Start and you scroll up to and you see that power option there and you select Shutdown? Why doesn't it shut down? I mean, if I wanted it to restart, I'd select that option, right? I hope I have an answer for you today. An answer that will work. Greetings. Thank you for your interest in my video. I'm Dave, GeezerGeek, and my videos are about things that you can do with tech. My primary interest is Linux and the hardware on which it runs, but I also do Windows videos because I do tech support for a number of people who have stayed with the Windows ecosystem. And this obviously is a video about Windows, and by the end of it I hope that you'll have found that one of these tips are useful for you. And good news, most of these solutions are reversible if they don't work. So, in this video what I'm going to do is share the solution that worked for my case and then some other possible fixes in case that first one doesn't work for you. There are a number of possible solutions for this particular problem because the reboot really is just a symptom pointing to an underlying problem, and several different problems can produce this particular symptom. I hope that this first solution does work for you, but whichever solution works, I would really be interested in your experience. What worked for you? And if none of them worked, that would be interesting to me as well. Please comment in the comment section down below this video. So the first solution. This one changes nothing unless it is absolutely necessary to change. This first solution requires the command prompt and with elevated privileges or administrator privileges. So what you're going to want to do is go to the Windows button, the Start button in the lower left corner, and in the box next to it, search box, type CMD. It'll give you this screen, and you can get the command prompt either of two ways. You can come here to this blue shaded box that I have here and right click on it and then say Start as Administrator. Or you can come over here to this side and the second option here is Run as Administrator. Either way does the same thing. What we're going to do is start a utility called System File Checker. And it's also called SFC. It changes nothing unless it is absolutely necessary to change it. If your system files are corrupted, they need to be fixed. And that's what this utility does. It's designed for this purpose. And to use it, you need the administrator privileges. So, getting that command prompt with administrator privileges, you'll notice there at the start, at the top of the box, it says Administrator Command Prompt. And what you do on the line, command line, type in SFC /scannow, just as you see there printed on the screen. Type that, hit return. You'll see information something like this. And for me, it took maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know exactly how long because I walked away and let it do its job. I did other things while it was working. When I came back, I had a message from it. You'll have one of two messages. Either you'll see this message that Windows Resource Protection did not find any integrity violations. That is good news if that's the message you get. However, it also means this didn't solve your problem. If it did find problems, it will attempt to repair them. And if it does so, it will tell you it successfully repaired system files. And what you can do is run it again, make sure, and this time you will get this message. If System File Checker repaired some system files, now is the time to shut down all of your open programs, including this one. Tell your system to shut down. See what happens. If it doesn't reboot, your problem is solved, just like it was for me. If it does reboot, well, we have some more things we can try, and that's what we'll do next. The next option, they say, will solve your problem 85% of the time. Maybe, I don't know, I don't have those statistics. But what you do is you go to the right-hand side of your screen now, at the bottom, and you'll see all of these icons. It's a familiar view. It may be slightly different on your machine, but in any case, you'll see an image something like this. And what you want is the second one, the one that looks like a battery and a power cord. When you click on it, or right-click on it actually, what you'll get is this image. Power Options, Windows Mobility Center. What you want to do is click Power Options, and you'll get the applet that allows you to choose your power plan. What we want to do is go over here to choose what the power buttons do. Click on that. Now the applet will show you this. This solution is only going to work if you have a third option in here under ShutDown settings. This solution doesn't work for me because that option doesn't appear for me. But in order to make the changes, what you need to do is change settings that are currently unavailable. When you do that, then what you get is this picture from your applet. The setting that you're looking for normally appears right above Sleep here in the ShutDown settings. And what it is called is Turn on Fast Startup, brackets recommended. There'll be a tick box next to it if it appears in your options. And if that checkbox is ticked, then untick it. Save. You see Save Changes there at the bottom of your screen. Save it, and then close everything down again. Turn off your machine. If it doesn't restart, then you've solved your problem. If it does, then we'll move on to the next option. This particular solution is only applicable if you have a motherboard made by Gigabyte and if you have one of their particular utilities installed on your system. If you don't have a Gigabyte motherboard, and if you don't have that utility, or if you do have a Gigabyte motherboard and you don't have that utility, then this solution doesn't apply to you. What we need to do is go to Add and Remove Programs. There's a couple of ways of getting there. You can go down to the search box again and type in Apps, and you'll have this option. I have just been used to getting it always from Control Panel, and so that's my approach. I go to Control Panel, and when I call it up, I have it in icon view, and there in my screen you see on the left hand or on the right hand side about halfway down, Programs and Features. That's the option you want to check. It'll populate a long list of all of the apps that are installed on your computer. System apps as well as apps that you've added, as well as utilities from your manufacturer. You see there on mine, it's a Dell computer, and we've got the Dell webcam and Dell, okay? All kinds of apps in this list. If you have a Gigabyte motherboard and you have their utilities installed, when you sort it by publisher and then you scroll down, you will find Gigabyte listed in here. If you don't find Gigabyte listed, you don't have that app. If you have a number of Gigabyte apps listed, then look over here in the list and look for on-off. That is the problem utility. It, for some reason, will interact incorrectly with Windows 10 and cause this reboot option, or this reboot problem. The solution is to uninstall that app. Before you do so, think, is this something you may want to reinstall? If it is, then 1, do you have the original drivers and etc., the disk supplied by Gigabyte with that motherboard? That will give you the option of reinstalling it. If you don't, then explore going to the Gigabyte website and looking up your motherboard model and see if they have the downloads of these utilities there on their site. They usually do. And so I would recommend looking into that before you uninstall this app, just to make sure you can reinstall it should you choose. Uninstall it, shut everything down, test, see if your problem's solved. If it is, then you're done. And the rest of the solutions here may or may not be of interest to you. But if it didn't solve your problem, then we'll go on and look at some more possibilities. There are some settings for your network adapter which could cause a problem like this. They primarily will be an issue like this if you are in a networked situation. If you're on a LAN, if that is the case, then you probably wouldn't even be watching this video. You'd be turning it over to IT for them to address it. So I'm going to assume you're not on a LAN, and adjusting these settings will not adversely affect you. If, however, you are on a LAN and you do have the potential for adversely affecting how you interact with the LAN, then keep track of what you're doing here so that you can reverse it if you need to. What you'll want to do is go to that lower left corner again, the search box next to the start button, and type in devmgmt.msc, device management. You could also type in those two words, device manager. There are other ways of getting there, but this is one convenient way of bringing it up quickly. When it appears, it will show you the list of your hardware on your system. What you'll want to do is scroll down through until you find your network adapters. As you see there on the screen, there are two pieces of hardware on my system: the Intel wireless adapter and the Realtek Ethernet adapter. So at the top of this applet, you see that we are looking at the Realtek Ethernet adapter, and I have selected the Power Management tab. By unticking that box, you may solve a problem. Maybe. Maybe it'll affect your functionality with your network. You know what to do if that is the case. Just retick it. Now on the Advanced tab, one of the things you'll want to check is the Wake on LAN setting. If you're not on a LAN, you can uncheck that or disable that. No adverse effect. If you are on a LAN, though, this will change your functionality. I would also scroll down and look a little bit lower in the list at two other settings. These are right near the bottom. One of them is the Magic Packet setting, and the other is the Pattern Matching setting. Disable both of them. That way, your LAN card will not be waking your system up. In most cases, you can also disable the ability of your Ethernet adapter to wake your computer by making some adjustments in your BIOS or UEFI settings, but that's outside the scope of this video. It may be there, it may not, but these settings here should help you with that particular issue, if it is in fact an issue in your case. If the network adapter is not interfering with your shutdown, then perhaps there's a problem occurring during Windows shutdown that Windows is attempting to record for you as a dump file. What we're going to do is change the error log settings. If this solves your problem of restarting, then you know you have another problem that you need to dig into and resolve, because this would only be a problem if there is another underlying issue that Windows is trying to record a report about. So changing your error log settings, this is how you do it. Go to that search box again, type in SYS, and the option you want there is there on the left, System. Not System Information, but System, right here. And it'll pull up this screen, tells you about your computer, your Windows installation, etc. And you'll see I've obscured some important information there. But on this page, what you want is the Advanced System Settings. When you click on that, you'll get this box, and you'll see System or startup and recovery. Check your settings there. This is the box that'll come up, and you see in the middle of it, system failure, automatically restart. Untick that. As I said, if this solves your problem, then you've got another problem. You need to explore that. It's beyond the scope of this video. So if it doesn't solve your problem, then come back and retick it. If it does solve your problem, come back and retick it. Either way, that way Windows can continue to write those important diagnostic files to memory or to your drive, so that tech people can research what's going on and fix it for you. We're getting to near the end of the barrel here. If none of these have worked to this point, if none of them have solved the rebooting problem, it is possible that you've got malware on your system. Malware can try to take over your system and use it for its own nefarious purposes. So do a scan for malware. Use good products. Windows Defender is an adequate possibility. For the last number of years, I have been using Trend Micro, primarily because I found a really good deal on a multi-computer lifetime upgrade and update package. So I have multiple licenses, and I paid a one-time fee for it, and so it's a real cheap lifetime offer for a very good product. Trend Micro is good. I really do like them. There are other good ones as well. AVG, Avast, Avira, Komodo. The list is quite long, and I have used many of them. They are good. They do the job. But like I said, I found this deal on Trend Micro, and I said, that's worth it. That's easily worth it. A hint for you: never have two antivirus programs on your computer at the same time. If you have one and you decide to change to a different one, make sure that you've used their uninstall utility and cleaned all remnants of it off before you install the new one. Antivirus programs can interact adversely with each other. It's not a virus problem. It's a fact that their system files just conflict, and they can produce problems for your system. However, you can use MBAM with any of them. I would highly recommend you get MBAM, Malwarebytes Anti-Malware. It's an excellent program, automatically fixes many issues. Get it, use it, scan regularly. You shouldn't have problems with malware if you're using it. If you have used these and you found no problems, do one more thing. I mean, we've gone this far, might as well. Do an online scan. There are a number of good ones out there. Kaspersky, ESET, Panda, they're all good. And you can do a search with your favorite search engine and find a number of them. These are just some of them that I know and have used, and they're good. Get a second opinion. Doesn't hurt. If you have found malware on your system, I'm going to recommend one more thing. Don't just assume that you have managed to solve your problem. Go to a site like TechSpot, TechSpot. I like them. I have worked with them. My area of expertise was slightly different, working with various hardware kinds of things. But I've known the people at TechSpot that work with malware issues. They're very good people, and they help you promptly, and so I highly recommend them. Others that can be helpful also include Bleeping Computer, just like it sounds, Bleeping Computer, and Geeks to Go, and there are a few others. Excellent anti-malware teams. Malware has changed over the years, and in the years of XP, probably the biggest biggest problem was malware like Vundo, V-U-N-D-O. Now, Bitcoin miners and ransomware and that kind of stuff. The malware threatscape has changed, and so go to one of these sites, get another opinion, have it Just be thorough. Make sure. Where do you go from here if you still haven't solved that restart problem? This next one is only for advanced users. Do not attempt it unless you're willing to assume the risk. It's called Registry edits, and you have the potential for bricking your system. Do not proceed down this road unless you're being exceedingly cautious and you are confident in what you're doing and you have a backup option in case you do damage your Windows operating system. For me, one easy way of doing that is having a clone of your system, a current clone, so that if you do damage it, you can clone it right back to your drive and you're right back where you started. No harm, no foul. Okay? But don't go down this road unless you're prepared to deal with the possible adverse consequences. Messing with your registry can cause Windows to fail. So you've been warned. And I'm not convinced that any of these edits do any more than the previous fixes that I have already shown you. But if you insist, here they are. I'm going to give you the key locations, and for you to learn more, you need to be responsible for your own research and your own process. It's on you, but here are the key locations and what they are. Again, as with a network adapter card, if you do these, it could adversely affect some of your computer's functionality. But you keep track of what you're doing, you can change them back. So here it is. Those are your locations and the settings that you might want to try to change. And I'm not going to put them in the show notes. You can copy them here off the screen. Pause the video, copy them off the screen, and now it's in your ballpark. See what's there. Now, if you've done all of these things so far and you still haven't solved it, all I have left are long shots. There may be some others, but these are the long shot items. One of them is just doing an update of Windows. Make sure that you are fully updated. Maybe you are already, but give it a shot. The reason I'm suggesting that is a number of years ago, 2-3 years ago, something happened and people started reporting this. As soon as there was a Windows update, they started having this restarting issue. But the next update corrected that. Maybe you've got something like that going on. Update Windows. There might be some other software that needs updating. I have trouble understanding what that might be right now. If I knew exactly what the software was that was doing it, then it might be more understandable, but make sure your other software is up to date, and there are some products that can help you do that. Another possibility is to update your drivers. There are a number of utilities that can help. I like Driver Booster. They have a free version, they have a paid version. The paid version does more automatically and simply. I think the free version is fine for my purposes, but you make the decision there on yourself. There are other similar products. LifeWire has done a review of some recently, 11 different driver utilities this month, October of 2020. So do a search for LifeWire October 2020 Driver Booster. You'll find it. Another possibility might be to update your BIOS. Now, I don't really recommend doing this unless it is absolutely necessary. There are times when it is necessary to update your BIOS, and we could get into that, but that could be a long rabbit trail. Like registry edits, it's something that must be pursued cautiously because, again, you can damage your system, and this time, if you mess up your BIOS, it's not as easy to fix and sometimes may not be possible to fix. Some motherboards have a second BIOS on them, and you can shift and you can restore a BIOS from your backup BIOS. If you have that, great. But if you don't, and you mess up your BIOS, then you're buying a new system. So you pursue updating your BIOS and just be very careful. Those are the possibilities that I have for you. If you found any of them to be helpful, I would be interested in which one. And if you have another solution to this issue, I would be interested in that. If none of these worked, I would be interested in that. Please leave your comments for me in the comments below this video. And again, thank you for your interest. Thank you for watching. I hope it has been helpful. See you next time.